today is a special class. I will take this opportunity to discuss with you the Heart Sutra, one of the most important Mahayana Buddha's sutra of relevance to Prana Dynamics. So I'll divide this intercourse into sections. So to help you to have a better comprehension, I will start with framework of reference, the philosophical framework of reference, then on the nature of the mind and the consciousness, and then we will go into the Heart Sutra, okay, in detail. So, let's see, how should I start? So, it's everything about you. It's everything about me that, as Lao Tzu said in this Tao Te Ching, chapter 42, about the nature and the coming of life. So he said, before the coming of life, there's a vast expanse of emptiness, nothingness. Even this concept of nothingness is redundant. So in this vast expanse of nothingness, there's a primal energy in emanation. And this primal energy, it can only function in the form of the light. And the light cannot see itself. The light can only see the reflections of the light. So to make it possible, the primal energy is in need and in search of a functional vehicle, psychosomatic apparatus with the potential of life. So in this vast expanse of emptiness, whenever there's a primal energy, touches a psychosomatic apparatus, this primal energy will then infuse in. With the infusion of this primal energy into that particular psychosomatic apparatus, prior to the beginning of life assimilation, there's a dimension. It's called the astral dimension. And this entrapped primal energy is the sole magnetic potential there is that animates based upon the particular constructs of the psychosomatic apparatus. The animation process then begins through the polarization of the two polarities of this magnetic potential, and it animates the body sensations. And once the animation begins, this energy attribute changes from this magnetic potential into electric energy vibration with the veiling of the animated body sensations. So then the two polarities of this electric energy in our body will then polarize into the vital energy with a center in our belly. Another polarity is polarized in our head in the form of mental energy. And this mental energy, once it attached to the external manifestations, and it is called the ego mind. Okay? So let us quote from the Lao Tzu's words. From emptiness, nothingness, the domain of the zero. After the infusion of this primal energy in the body, it is called the essence, okay? Or the domain of the one, existence, beingness, aliveness. With the coming of the one, it is through the two polarities of the magnetism and the two polarities of this electric energy and vibration. It is the domain of the two. And traditionally, it's called duality. So 1 plus 2 equals to 3. So after the coming of the 3, there is the world to us. Okay, there's no 4, there's no 5, there's no 6. Okay, so here there are two dimensions we have to expound on. That is, first, there is a trinity of this energy mechanism. Okay, from magnetic to electric. So there's an astral dimension in embedded inside our body prior to the animation of body sensations. It's called the astral dimension. And from this astral dimension, there is a polarization of the two polarities of this electric energy vibration. It's called vital and mental energy. And so this is the energy trinity in our body. Okay, the astral, the vital, and the mental energy in polarization. Okay, so on top of this animated body sensations, because of this polarized electric energy vibration into the vital energy centered in your belly and the mental energy centered in your head. So there is an intrinsic energetic tension to support and sustain the polarization of vital and mental energy on top of the animated body sensations to support and to sustain the functionality of the mind. So this energetic tension is the stronghold of the involuntary identification, self-identification. Whenever your mind is in function, there is an involuntary identification with the body as an I. And this mind, this mental energy, being electric by nature, this mind, based upon this involuntary identification with the body as an I, this mind is also uh, a product of a trinity. It's a product of energy. It's an energy functioning. It's not a physical organ. So based upon this involuntary attachment to this body as an I, this mind is succumbing to the two polarities of this electric and electric mental energy in vibration, that which separates us from the space. And therefore, with it, the mind will take dominance in our head, confining ourselves to the invisible limits of the animated body sensations. And and succumbing to this trinity mechanism, that is neutrality, passivity, and activity. In traditional Sanskrit terms, it's called sattva, tamas, and rajas. Okay, in vibration, emotion, that which separates us, because this mind can only function within the invisible limits of the animated body sensations. So the mind can see and sense anything and everything within the invisible limits of the animated body sensations, not beyond. That means that the mind is actually a prisoner entrapped in the body, that which separates us from the external manifestation, so that and divide us from the external world and succumbing ourselves to the animated body sensations as an individual. So once you can see this picture, you'll then realize that the mind is actually a prisoner entrapped in the body. the so-called individuality is a prisoner entrapped in the body, succumbing to the invisible limits of the animated body sensations. And it is the mind that which divides us, okay? It is the mind that which dominates in our head, succumbing ourselves to be an individual. So once you take it for granted, once you allow this mind to take dominance over you on top of your head, you lose sight of your own divine nature, the so-called consciousness. So this consciousness, it is just a concept to your mind. The mind don't have this capacity nor ability to really comprehend it because your mind cannot see it. Okay? But this consciousness is just the aperture that allows the penetration and infiltration of this primal energy in the form of the light, that which leverages the animated body sensations as of the feeling in the camera. And when this primal energy, the light of this primal energy infiltrates and penetrates through the animated body sensations and avoid, there is the external manifestation to us. Okay? But the mind cannot see it. The mind can only come after the manifestation is in place. And when your mind takes dominance over you, it distorts and blocks you from being able to see the light because it is the construct of the light. The light cannot see itself. The light can only see the reflections of the light. As simple as that. Similar to us, even for us to see how we look, we have to see through the reflections of the mirror. This is the design and the construct of this animation mechanism. Okay? So that is why the mind is a common blocking factor, for one to tap into the internal energy dimension. And the mind is a common blocking factor that which blocks us from being able to see our own true nature. And collectively, I call it human bondage. Okay? So the external manifestation, it is just a contrivance to make this manifestation possible. That is our life experience possible. And it is also the playground of the mind. Okay? It's like an involuntary actor on the screen of this manifestation. Okay? Whereas this consciousness is a sole director. There is. But the mind cannot see it. The mind cannot understand it. To your mind, this so-called consciousness is just a concept in the mind. The mind cannot understand that which is contracted in the body, that which animates the body sensations. Therefore, it's called consciousness. Okay? So that is why, to simplify this picture, Lao Tzu said, from the domain of zero, there comes one. And after the coming of the one, spontaneously, instantaneously, there's the domain of the two. 1 plus 2 equals to 3. If we follow the sequence of evolution, this is exactly what makes us human. However, he said, if one can find a way to reverse engineer this process, this is the way to our divinity, our holiness. Okay? So within the confine and construct of this animation mechanism, all beings are infused with energy, all beings come into existence, into life through the infusion of this primal energy, harmonized with the light. Okay? So this is the exact description from Lao Tzu. And this is not a philosophical proposition. This is his perception of the nature of life. So this statement does not apply only to him. It applies to all of us. Okay? Okay, I will take a pause here. Any questions? No, no questions? Okay. So, because this mechanism happen to us each and every day. You know, when you are deep asleep in the middle of the night, where's the trace of you? Where's the trace of the world to you? There's no nothing. Okay, because this consciousness is in a dormant state. And once this aperture of consciousness is on, like each and every morning when you wake up, with your waking up, boom, voila. Simultaneously and instantaneously, there is a world to us. Okay? And because we take it for granted, we have been succumbing to the dominance of the mind in our head as an individual. So we take it for granted. So basically, here is a question. So, is the world what you call the world? You know, is in separation from us, or is the world is actually contained in us? This is a question. Okay, without your presence, without your wakefulness, there can be no world to you. The world can exist only because your beingness, your aliveness, your existence to you. So the world is in you. Okay, not you living in a world in separation from you. Does that make sense? Because it is the nature of your mind that which divides. It is the nature of the mind that which makes you believe that you are living in a world in separation from you. Okay? And this is not real. So the question is that how can you remove or surrender this mind for you to see the picture? Okay, and this is where and why the relevance and importance of prana dynamics to help you to elevate into the energy dimension for you to see a different picture. Okay, so so to surrender your mind, because the mind can see and sense anything and everything out there but itself. Therefore, to invoke this internal transformation, you have to align your body structure and connect your feet to the antenna to defragment yourself from this fragmented microcosmic orbit, that to align yourself in the dynamic balance of this law of gravity and the counter force. Now, in preparation for you to invoke the intention from your heart to surrender your mind, okay, in you. Now, when it comes to this practice, the key concept here and an important concept in practice is to song. More than just relaxation, because to the Western mind, when it comes to the relaxation, it is actually collapsation. Okay, so the Chinese term song plays a pivotal role here. You have to invoke the intention from the heart to deflate or decrease the energy density content in the body, that which accelerates the animation of this mental energy, in separation. Okay. And so to song, that means that you can visualize that your body, there's polarized mind body energy in you to support and sustain this polarization. It demands energy. So you can invoke the intention from the heart to decrease this energetic polarization. and to decrease the energy density content in the balloon. So that traditionally, this is called fasting, this is called repentance, this is called sacrifice, this is called baptism. That is, we try to invoke this uh, the the level of dominance of this mental energy in the form of this energetic tension inflated. We try to decrease this mental energy inside of our mind body inners, and to confluence this polarized vital, mental, and the astral energy back into the state of oneness. Okay? And traditionally, this is called harmonization, equalization, or we try to inflict this. It is only through this mechanism will be possible for you to inflict this internal shift. You try to break jail from the dominance of the mind to equalize and harmonize. No, not to equalize and harmonize. So once your mind dissolves, once this mind disappears, what then remains is nothing but this pristine consciousness in you, that which defies the capture of words. Does that make sense? So we try to invoke this internal transformation, but the thing that there can be no doer, there's it's not like I want to harmonize with this consciousness. I want to become, I want to attend. Traditionally, this is what makes this mechanism complicated, because as long as there's a seeker for the truth, you'll never find it. You're still under the spell and the dominance of the mind in the form of uh, imagination, either self-imagination or imposed imagination, or your self-infatuation. So that is why the key proposition: the seeker has to disappear. Okay, so you cannot invoke the intention from the mind. I'm talking about invoking the intention from the heart to surrender, to relax, to repent, to surrender and dissipate your mind. So once the mind is not into distortion no more, once the mind ceases its involuntary craving to the attachment to manifestations. Okay, what then remains is nothing but this pristine consciousness as a sole observer, as a sole seer, as a sole creator there is, witnessing the happenings on the stream of manifestations. And this is the state called kun. In Chinese, it's called guan, okay? And like the first word in the Heart Sutra, okay? 观自在菩萨, that is, you observe. You flip your focus of observation instead of looking into the external manifestations. You'll be able to flip this mental focus back into yourself and explore into oneness with your own true nature in you. Okay? Be as you are, intended in oneness with this conscious awareness in you. Okay? Okay, I'll take a pause here. Any questions? So once your mind surrenders, once your mind, you can successfully, train your mind to detach from its involuntary attachment to the external manifestation based upon the intrinsic separation. The mind will surrender, and this energy tension, this inflated mental energy tension will decrease. And so this is the key thing. Energetically, you try to decrease the energy tension, and in us, both physically and mentally, and also from your heart. So that this polarized mind body and the astral energy, they'll automatically converge into the state of oneness. Okay, deep in stillness, in silence. And so this is the only way for you to train your mind and to curb your mind from its involuntary, craving for the external attachment and the clingings. Okay? In you. Does that make sense? So that is why once you practice Prana Dynamics is just an entering state. It's like my summary of the essence of the Kung Fu approach in preparation for people to tap and to evolve into the internal energy dimension. Okay, so prana in dynamics, in oneness with this infused and entrapped primal energy. Once it's in motion, it's called the magic. Okay, once there's no more intention, no more motions, then this is the contemplative state. Make sense? So the prana dynamic is there in preparation for people to get ready for true spiritual ascension. Yeah. It's not, martial arts is just one of the byproducts of this path. It is not the main purpose. But historically and ironically, people misunderstand it, and misunderstand the essence of the art. So throughout the history, evolution of the histories, people degrading and downgrading the essence of the art into the game of, say, bullying and so-called martial arts. So this is where people fail to capture the essence of it. Yeah, there's more to it. There's more to Prana Dynamics. Yeah, that is why today's session. Yeah. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Any questions?
Hi, Howard.
Hey, Pat.
I'll be brave and ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting the manifesting thing about we manifest our life and what happens, from when we wake up. The question is, do we also manifest the earth that we walk on, the air we breathe, the sun, the moon? Is that all part of the manifestation, or is that a separate thing that's there provided for us to play in, as it were?
Everything you can perceive, they are just temporal happenings on the stream of manifestation. And on the stream of this manifestation, the only constant rule is that everything is inconstant. You are the sole constant there is, witnessing the creating process.
And so different, we all manifest the sun and the moon, so we're all manifesting kind of the same things from different places. Is that because we're all one?
No,
we are all one.
We are all one. What is in animation in you, what is in animation in me, is the same universal consciousness in temporal manifestation. So the design and construct of this energy mechanism is universal, just that the content of our life is different from one to the other. So any material, they are the consolidation or condensation of energy. Okay? And so what then remains is that we can see the same moon because of we are of the same energy, frequency, and vibration.
Right. So it's like we all have the same backdrop, but we're all doing our own thing. Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I just have one additional quick question, Howard,
Yes.
and related to when we go to sleep at night. You mentioned that the world disappears, but just in terms of dreams, is that a function of the mind or
Oh,
the consciousness that's trying to create this activity?
no, it's just a functioning of the mind. That is, when your body
Okay.
is resting, your mind is still actively, you know, thinking, and so
Okay.
therefore the dreams.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you can successfully surrender your mind to your heart, to the intent from your heart, and the deep in stillness and silence, you know, there will be the emergence of peace in you. And so the true meditation and the prayer is to abide yourself in the state, deep in stillness, in silence, and peace in you. And once you can establish and abide yourself in that state, so this primal energy, they're going to shine through the manifestation and sparkle to you in a form of intuition. So the only way this consciousness can correspond to you is through this sparkling of intuition. Okay? And so this consciousness has different names traditionally. And in the contemporary English lexicon, it's called consciousness. And traditionally, it's called Brahman in Indian Brahmin. And in Chinese, it's called Guanyin or Guanzizai. Okay. It is something like this. This is the icon of this Avalokitesvara. And it is just a personification of this universal consciousness in temporal manifestation. For the sake of teaching, people need to personify this consciousness so that humans or people can have a better chance to comprehend the essence of the teachings. So it has thousands of hands. It means that this consciousness is universal in the sense that we, as an individual, you cannot have consciousness. It is the opposite. This consciousness is having you each and every moment in manifestation. Okay? What I call the primal energy, in animation. Okay? So basically, we have to think that what happens when you are waking up. Okay, when this aperture of consciousness is on, what is happening? How does it happen? Who is waking up and what is waking up? Because once you wake up, so through this animation mechanism, it is the infiltration and permeation of this primal energy entrapped in the body, and it go through your body sensations. So it is the feeling of this light through your noses that enables, your the this sensation of smell. Okay, it is the infiltration and permeation of this entrapped primal energy in the form of the light through your eyes. And it is the feeling of this light through your eyes that creates this sensing of seeing. Okay? The same for your hearing capacity, the same for the touches. So it is all because of the infiltration of this light that which creates the temporal feeling of the light through the sensory organs that which creates the sensations. So your sensations are dependent upon the animation of the light. They cannot exist by themselves. Okay? They are the product of animation. what I'm saying is that what we take it to be real is actually a product of simulation. So you can visualize that if you understand the sequence of what I've just expounded to you. The substratum in our existence, is based upon emptiness. And after the infusion of this primal energy, there's a beingness. This is the infusion and entrapment of this primal energy in the body. And there's the astral dimension. It's also part of this emptiness. And then through the infiltration and penetration of this primal energy, that which animates the body sensations. So we come into existence, we come into the state of wakefulness, and then they're with it. Based upon this product of animation, the mind begins to function as an involuntary actor on the screen of manifestation. So just that we take it for granted that we are the mind, and the mind will convince us that we are the body, and then boom, there's an individuality. So this is why in the Bible, when you every moment when you are awake, when you allow this mind to dominate on top of your head as an individual, you know, it's called the sinner. Okay, it's a case of a misidentity. Okay, you identify yourself. You are following the command from your mind, identifying your body as an individual. This is a case of misidentification. Okay, therefore you lose sight of the divine nature of you in oneness with this conscious awareness. Yeah, your holiness, your divinity in you. Okay, are you with me? So each one of us is like a dreamer, in life, in temporal manifestation, and then taking ourselves, our body, as real. But actually, it's a product of animation. You know? So emptiness, astral, the magnetic potential, animated body sensations like a sandwich, and then that is a playground of the mind. Or you can look at yourself as of a picture, a landscape. Okay, so this astral dimension is like the ocean. Okay, the water of the ocean, and on top of the water surface, okay, that is animated body sensations. And on top of the water surface, into the sky, that is the playground of the mind. Make sense? And your mind is like is a victim to the duality, 1 plus 2. This one is a case of misidentification, the involuntary self-identification with the body as an I. And then, so the mind is like a wing, that which blows in the sky and causes the ripples on the water surface that creates the emotions. And so your mind will take it for granted. And then this is when and where you have to undulate, on top of on the surface of the water, You have to bump, you have to fight, you have to strive, you have to suffer your life experiences from moment to moment as an individual, Does that make sense? And energetically, each one, the body is just a vehicle. So the body is a container. So we are all confined to the body, in the ocean and witnessing our life experiences from moment to moment as an individual. Yeah. And that is why it is collectively called human bondage. But once you can see this picture, and this is of relevance to the Heart Sutra I'm going to expound later in detail, So it is not for you to achieve. It's not for you to attain. It is for you to surrender your mind to your heart. And once your mind can disappear and then dissipate, What then remains is nothing but this light of this consciousness, this aperture of this consciousness. But yet again, this consciousness has to be transcended. Okay? And this is why the Heart Sutra is about. Okay? I will I will discuss with you in detail later. So is everybody with me so far? Any questions? Okay. Okay. If no more questions now about this Heart Sutra. Now this Heart Sutra is a very interesting sutra because this Heart Sutra, the author was anonymous, and this Heart Sutra it's actually it is not how should I put it? The funny thing is that this Heart Sutra the author was anonymous, and this Heart Sutra was say okay, in the Tang Dynasty when China was a Buddhist country, there was a monk. It's called Hsiang, and he took a vow to himself. He took a vow to himself. He wanted to travel to India because China was a Buddhist country, but not many people truly understand the essence of the teachings, the Buddhist teachings. So he took a vow to himself to travel to India. By then, this journey was very dangerous, and so he embarked on his journey. But before he can reach India, some other monks in Sichuan province taught him this sutra, this Heart Sutra. So he recited, all his way throughout his journey. He successfully made his way to India. He mastered the language and successfully brought home a lot of Buddha sutras. And after he came back to China after many years, he dedicated his life to translate the sutras. But of all his translations, this Heart Sutra, he didn't translate it, but he published it, is the ultimate Mahayana sutra in Chinese language. And here's the funny thing, some background of this sutra. It's by this sutra, traditionally, if you read it from your mind, it is a dialogue from this consciousness, called Avalokitesvara. And in discourse with the Buddha's best students called Sariputra. Okay, so this is what is confusing to people. Why is it this sutra designed in such a way? Why is it not from the Buddha himself? Instead, it is a discourse in between Avalokitesvara and Sariputra. So basically, it's a metaphor, and so if you have heard me before, the essence of the true meditation is a monologue. It's never in the form of dialogue. Okay? So the background of this sutra is actually the sparkling of intuition of this universal consciousness in you, talking to you. And this is an important understanding. Okay? Is everybody with me? The background of the sutra is a monologue when you are deep in meditation, when you are in a trance-like state, deep in stillness, in silence in you. This consciousness is sparkling to you in the form of intuition. You are the Sariputra, okay? And this consciousness called Avalokitesvara is in resonance with you through the sparkling of intuitions. Okay, this is the background, the core background of this sutra. Everybody's with me? Any questions? Okay. So if no more questions, another key thing is that what does it mean by prashna? The key, the mantra of this Heart Sutra is called prashna paraparamita. Okay. And what does it mean by prashna paraparamita? It means in oneness with life energy, transcend yourself. And this is something of relevance to what I expounded to you earlier. So you are not an individual. You are not a person. You are not a human. What you are is this energy body entrapped in this body in temporal manifestation. Okay? So the key thing is you have to equalize and harmonize yourself with this energy body. You have to invoke the intention from the heart to song to equalize and harmonize this polarized trinity of this energy body in you back into the state of oneness. And this is called prajna. In oneness with this energy body, transcend yourself. Okay? So this is where this sutra begins. It says that this consciousness, okay, called Avalokitesvara, when it's practicing, when it's in abidance, deep in oneness with this energy body, through this prajna paraparamita, in oneness with this life energy for self-transformation, it sees that all the five skandhas, the nature of the five skandhas, that is the domain of the mind, is actually emptiness. There's no mind, and the mind is an illusion. And more, the backdrop of this mind is actually emptiness. Okay. And all the sufferings are self-inflicted, because it's the nature of the mind that which projects the divisions, that which separates us from the oneness, the intrinsic oneness of this manifestation, that which causes the sufferings. So once you see through the mind, you'll be able to see that all the sufferings are self-inflicted. If there is no trace of the mind, there's no trace of suffering. And the five skandhas, they are referring to the confines of the mind. That is, once the mind is entrapped in the body, how the mind can function. This mind can only function in the form of this trinity, within the invisible limits of the animated body sensations. So the mind can only function through the five aggregates. It's called perception, cognition, the mental modifications in the form of thought inside of this body. There's agitation and animation of this energy in fermentation in the form of emotions, okay, on top of this consciousness. So perception, cognition, mental modification, emotions, and consciousness, they are the five aggregates of the mind, okay? This image of this mind with entrapped in the body that we take it to be ourselves. So this is a case of misidentification. But once you can see that, and once you can see that the substratum of this animation is actually emptiness, then you will liberate yourself from this involuntary attachment to any of the sufferings in you. Okay? So this will cease all the sufferings when there's no more attachment to the external manifestations or as an individual. So therefore, Zarathustra, the one who is seeking for the truth, can't you see that color, the sensation, is no different from emptiness? And emptiness is no different from the sensations, so-called the color. Okay? So the sensation is emptiness, the color is emptiness. Emptiness is the color. Okay? So once you can see that, the animated body sensations, be it for perception, thought, abidance, and the animated senses, they are all empty. Okay? They are all temporal. They cannot be real. You see? So therefore, Zarathustra, that is each one of us, therefore, can't you see that all the nature of all dhammas, the way, are empty? Okay? And so once you are out of your mind, once you're out of this the confinement of the animated body sensations, your true nature is this consciousness and beyond. And this primal energy, you cannot enhance it, you cannot distinguish it, you cannot tarnish it, you cannot cleanse it, you cannot increase it, you cannot decrease it. Therefore, in this emptiness, there's no color, there's no perception, there's no abidance, there's no consciousness. Okay, there's no eyes, there's no eyes, there's no ear, there's no nose, there's no tongue, there's no body. Okay, there's no intention. Okay, there's no colorization, no senses. Okay, no sound, no smell. Okay, no touch, no dhamma. Okay, there's no eyesight. There's even this consciousness is temporal. Okay, so beyond this consciousness, there can be no ignorance, nor the end of ignorance. Okay, and there's no birth, there's no death. Okay, and there's no ending of this so-called incarnation, endless incarnation of life and death. Okay, there's no suffering, there's no congregation of suffering, therefore there's no question of dissolution, and there's no doubt, there's no wisdom, and there's nothing for you to attend. And because there's nothing for you to attend, bodhisattva, will the so-called enlightenment be possible? That is, you equalize and harmonize yourself in oneness with the light. Okay? So can't you see that this can only be possible through abidance, through the abidance and the practice of prajna paraparamita. Okay, and exactly because of this prajna paraparamita, okay, there's no attachment on the mind, and exactly because there's a freedom from the attachment from the mind, therefore there's no fear, and because there can be no room for fear, will be possible for the daydreamers to awaken from this living dream, in reversal. And this is the only way to nirvana. Now, here, the concept of nirvana is that once you understand the nature of this animation, it is through the polarization of energy in emanation. It is called the vana. Nirvana means no more energy in vibration in polarizations. So instead of this magnetic potential, electric energy and vibration on top of this animated body sensations, which with each one of us as an aperture for this infiltration and permeation of this primal light. In permeation and separation from us, this is called Vana. So once you can surrender your mind, equalize yourself, and transcend this consciousness, beyond this consciousness, there's no more Vanas, no more energy and vibrations. What then remains is nothing but emptiness. Okay? Emptiness, not in the sense of nothingness, but there's an intelligence deep in this emptiness, with taking care of you, witnessing you, enjoying this life creation. Okay? But free of the distortion of energy and vibrations. Okay, that is why it's called Nirvana. So all the Buddhas from ancient times until now, they all followed and practiced Prajnaparamita to attain the ultimate liberation and awakening. It's called Arutana Samyak Sambuddhaya. So therefore, Prajnaparamita is the ultimate mantra. Okay? And if you can really put into the practice and comprehend it and abide yourself in one with it, it will dispel all the sufferings and the unreal. Okay? And this is the only reality there is. Therefore, why this is why I'm flickering to you in the form of the sparkling of intuition. Prajnaparamita, okay, is the ultimate mantra. So put into the practice, impregnate yourself in one with it, and gate, keep on ascending yourself, elevating yourself, liberate yourself in oneness with this Prajnaparamita mantra. Okay, and put into practice and an abidance. Okay, gate, bodhisam bodhisvaha, until you don't surrender, you don't give it up, until the final self-liberation and awakening. So this is what the Heart Sutra is talking about. Does that resonate to you? Any questions?